Welcome back, everybody. Today I want to share with you my $125,000 Fundrise portfolio. Now, if you're a returning viewer, you may remember that I used to have two different accounts. One account was an IPO heavy account, and then the second account was a real estate heavy account. Well, all the money is now in one account. So if you're seeing this $125,000 and wondering, well, it was pretty much the same number about a year and a half ago, well, you're absolutely right, because Fundrise Returns for the past year and a half have been disappointing, to say the least. However, the market was down, the economy is bad, everyone is losing their jobs. So if we're staying the same throughout this year and a half, it's not necessarily a bad thing. So let's go over my account here. The first thing I want you guys to look at is this is a long-term growth plan. Now, once again, what that means is that a lot of my investment that I do with Fundrise goes into certain real estate and certain projects that are supposed to grow in appreciation. So your returns would grow as the value of those properties increase, as opposed to someone who would be in an income-based portfolio or a balanced portfolio. They would have a lot of their returns in terms of dividends, which are usually obtained from rental incomes or loans that Fundrise gave to certain property developers. So, long-term growth plan. This is not a retirement Fundrise plan. This is an individual account. As you can see, the account value is $125,231.55. As you can see, the net return. So I've been with Fundrise since 2020. So it's almost been 4 years. So the average return over these 4 years. Now, don't forget that we went through COVID, we went through theoretically recession, or still going through the recession, or still waiting for it. We don't know yet. But we've been through so much. Inflation is through the roof. Rental prices are going out of control. The prices of the houses are still just so high that no one can actually afford them. Huge companies are just buying out all the property. Interest rates are close to 7%. Yet where I live on the East Coast of the United States, people are still bidding and overbidding over the asking price for the real estate they're trying to buy. It's absolute crazy. So someone on the East Coast is likely to pay $5,000, $6,000, or $7,000 a month mortgage in the hopes that few years down the line they'll be able to refinance that loan and then lower their mortgage. Well, let's hope that happens, but what if it doesn't? You're working just to pay the mortgage. But anyway, so net return over these 4 years went all the way down to $8,981.26. If you look at some of my videos from a year ago, especially from 2021, where we had that crazy 1 or 2 quarters where we saw amazing returns from Fundrise, as well as anywhere else, this was at almost 20,000. So just as I predicted in some of my other videos, Fundrise in 2020-21, we had saw great returns, but we all know that we cannot maintain that 25, 30, 35, 40% return year over year. So now for the past year and a half, we've been seeing negative returns with Fundrise. And that's what I predicted in some of my other videos. And this is what we're seeing here. We went from a net annualized return of about 19 to 24% from what I remember to just 6.1% average return over 4 years. Now, this is theoretically underperforming the stock market at this point. It's definitely underperforming crypto, but we're still hopeful that once we are able to average this over 5 years or even 10 years, we will get closer to the returns that we see in the S&P 500, in the public real estate market, and maybe even crypto, which is somewhere between 7 and 12%. That is what I'm hoping for an average over 10 years. So account value we looked at, net returns we looked at. Now as for the portfolio, 83.1% of my portfolio is in real estate, in long-term real estate, long-term growth plan. other here, I'm not sure why it says other, but this is actually my Fundrise IPO allocation. Now, it's not initial public offering. Fundrise IPO stands for Fundrise Internet Public Offering, which is a very unique opportunity that all Fundrise investors get at some point during their investing journey with Fundrise. They get an opportunity to invest in Fundrise as a company rather than the real estate or the projects that they're offering. So theoretically, you are buying illiquid shares of a private company, aka Fundrise, in hopes that sometime in the future the company will go public and you will be able to capitalize by selling your early bought shares to the general public, and obviously, hopefully, a 5x or a 10x. That's my hope. So this other is Fundrise IPOs. You can see I have a good chunk. 12% of my portfolio is in Fundrise IPO. Now, venture. Venture is a relatively new thing that Fundrise started doing. Venture capitalism, angel investors, however you may know them. This is pretty much an investment that Fundrise does on your behalf into private tech startups or private tech companies. They're usually in the middle to late stage of their life as a private company. So again, same concept. Instead of having these big companies, big firms that are worth billions of dollars, being able to get in on the ground floor into these tech startups, private tech startups, Fundrise will collect the money and invest the money for you, and you will be able to get in on the ground floor of these tech companies, again hoping that in the future, when the companies go public or they get bought out by a bigger company, whatever it may be, you will be able to capitalize by selling your shares again to the general public or to someone else who's entering at a later stage of that company's growth. So that's what venture capital is. As you can see, I have 5% of my portfolio in venture capital. Now, and the last one is private credit. It's only 0.3% of my portfolio. And what that is pretty much income from rental real estate, or more so from the loans that Fundrise gives to land developers, and those loans collect interest, and that is what private credit is. Now, because I'm in a long-term growth plan, that is why the private credit is only 0.3% of my portfolio. On the other hand, if you choose an income-based plan or the balanced plan, you will likely see a bigger percentage of your portfolio in the private credit. So that's the breakdown of my portfolio here. Let's scroll down and look at this chart right over here. I really like this chart because it really shows what has been happening since the inception, or since I started investing with Fundrise. You could see here I started investing December 31st of 2019. So theoretically, I just call it 2020. As you can see, I started investing relatively slowly. Okay, I didn't know what Fundrise was. I didn't know what the company was. I'm not sure if it's legit, not legit. I wanted to go over the paperwork, what they do, their business practices and whatnot. So I started off relatively slow. This is also the time where I started picking up and making more money working. So as you can see over here, there's a big jump from about July 31st to September 30th, right? So we went to about from about $4,000 portfolio to a $12,000 portfolio in just 2 months. So I got some money, I did my research, I became confident that I want to invest some of my money into Fundrise. Obviously not all the money, because you have to be invested in stocks, in crypto, in public real estate, and now private real estate, and possibly maybe even buy actual physical properties that you could rent out if you could find a good deal, which is so hard to find right now. So after this $12,000 account value in 2020, again, I kind of, I had my monthly contributions of about $500 a month, we keep going. And then in April 30th, 2021, we jumped from $16,000 all the way to $40,000. So again, I became so convinced, even more so, and I saw the growth that the growth with Fundrise and how Fundrise does their business, and I put in another $25,000. And then finally, once I slowed down contributing a little bit, you could see the difference on what the returns were. So as you could see, the account value is this dark line, and net contribution is this lower line that you see here. So as you could see, I was contributing, okay, monthly, about, I think it was $500 a month, and and the account value was going higher and higher. So this shaded region is the actual returns, right? So we saw amazing returns in, I believe it was 2021 and some of 2022. We saw some really nice returns. If you look at a few of my videos, I think some portfolios or some projects did close to 40% in just 1 year. Amazing, amazing returns. But as I was saying throughout the whole process, those things do not last forever. So if you see a 40% return 1 year, you will probably see a -10 the next year, and usually it would all equal out anywhere between 7 and 12%, which you should be happy about, so to speak. As you can see, this is why I combined two of my portfolios. It went from 75,000 to 125,000 and so on. And we still got a decent return here. Net return again is around $9,000 over 4 years. Not the best, but considering that I started with just $1,000 in 2020 and now we're at $125,000 in 2023, I wouldn't call it a bad investment, especially because it gives you so many options. You can invest in real estate. You could invest in a private company as Fundrise. You can invest in private tech startups. So they're expanding. Fundrise are not staying in the same place. They're not just doing real estate. Now they're expanding to the private tech companies, even public securities. I saw, I think they had an investment in things like Uber and I know a couple of other things. So that's why I really enjoy this platform. I think in the future, this is going to be one of the best platforms to be an investor on. And I think us as early Fundrise IPO investors and venture investors, we will be able to capitalize and gain some outsized returns with this platform. So I'm really happy about that. Another little tool that I do want to show you guys over here is the investing goal. It's a tool. Lately, I stopped investing on a monthly basis. I think I will pick up again sometime soon once my work schedule normalizes, or if it normalizes. So you could click on create goal here, and would you see what kind of goal would you like to create? So you guys can pick whatever you like. Income, I wouldn't suggest that. You will end up paying lots of taxes on this. Retirement, again, I never been a proponent of IRAs or any of those retirement accounts for different reasons. And I would advise anyone not to even have a retirement account because, well, why wait 30 plus years to have access to your money if you could have them now? Why do you need money when you're 67? But anyway, major purchases, you probably shouldn't be investing money if you're looking for a major purchase to begin with, especially in relatively risky investment like Fundrise, as opposed to something like a CD account, which could get you around 4.9% or higher at this point. You lock up your money for a year, but it's definitely possible. So this, again, probably if you need a major purchase, don't do it. Retirement, don't do it. Income, don't do it. Education is okay for my child's education, but there's probably better options which are more from which you can get more tax benefits if you're trying to save for your children's education. So pretty much the only option that actually makes sense here is build wealth. And then you click continue. And as for the years that you want to be investing in, usually 30 is a good amount, right? Because most of the growth you will see in your portfolio are from year 20 to 30. That 10-year period, you will see so much growth in your portfolio. It is insane. Literally, if you put 20 years, you will not see as much growth as you put 30 years, because there's compound interest that gets included into this whole investing thing, and the growth just becomes so exponential. I'm gonna use 30 years because ideally I'll be 64 in 30 years. So that's probably actually a little too much for me. So I'm gonna put 25, right? 25. So I'm gonna be 59. So let's see what happens here. Let's say I just want to have $2 million to my name in 25 years. View goal. So if in 25 years I want to have $2 million in my account, I have to invest, starting now, $580 a month. Now guys, remember this number, $580 a month for a $2 million target amount after 25 years. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the goal, right? Amount is still $2 million, but all I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to put 30 years. Okay, notice how my minimum goal changed to about $2,056,000. Well, let's actually increase this to $2,100,000, right? Now, guys, look at this difference. All I did was changed the years from 25 to 30, and now out of nowhere, all I have to do is invest $30 a month instead of $580 a month to get to my $2 million goal. So the difference is literally $550 a month. And that is literally all because of compound interest. Because you see how this curve here, this orange dotted line, starts off really slow, and then just picks up. That's because you're earning interest on your interest and then on more interest and so on. And over here, so 53, let me see, 48. Let me see here, 2048. The estimated return in 2048 is 1.2 mil. Now, just 5 years later, in 2053, look at my return. It's just $100,000 or more every year, and it goes to 2 million in just 5 years after that. It's a crazy return. So that's the compound interest trick. So even if you only have $30 a month, make sure you invest these $30 a month. So if you make it to 30 years from now, you will see great returns. That's just another thing I wanted to show you before I leave you here, guys. And one last thing that I wanted to show you guys, because of my standing with Fundrise, because I'm a Fundrise Pro member, because of my account value, I have a $100 voucher that I'm able to offer anyone who is new to Fundrise. However, you do have to use my referral link in the description below to open a new Fundrise account and fund it with just $10. Once you fund it with just $10, you will get free $100 added to your Fundrise account, and I will get the same. So as you can see here, this year I only got one person to sign up. That's why I only got $100 here. However, over many years that I've been doing this, I have my waivers, my fee waived for about 2,790 days, out of which 1,800 is left. And my total amount of people who accepted and used my referral link with a new referral system is around 18 people, which is a really good amount. So guys, please, if you're new, use the referral link. You get $100, I get $100. We're both happy. Now, let me know what you think about Fundrise. Do you think the returns that Fundrise offers actually warrant the risk that we take with Fundrise? Are you into venture capitalism? Are you into Fundrise IPO? Or are you just going to stick in with flat out, bread and butter Fundrise real estate investment? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.